It was late morning. I observed a vehicle traveling westbound on Sycamore. Started off as just a routine traffic stop.
Paul, I'm putting an audible on your beat on Monty Lane.
I observed he didn't have a front license plate. I'll be at Sycamore and South Melrose on an unlicensed white van. Stand by for the plate.
Fuck! God damn it! You keep your fucking mouth shut, you got me? Not one fucking word unless you want to get deported. I'm gonna kill you my fucking self.
I initiated the traffic stop and contacted the driver, and I found the driver he didn't have proper identification or any identification for that matter, and had no identification on the vehicle. I removed the driver from the car, placed him in the back seat of my car. I also observed approximately 8 females in the vehicle and several backpacks and, articles of different things, and they looked a little nervous. Looked like something was going on. They were hiding something, possibly some prostitution. When my partner got there, I advised her what was going on and what I had observed. And our plan was we were going to take each female out of the car and then try and interview them individually. What's your name?
Carla.
Carla? What's your last name, Carla?
De La Cruz.
De La Cruz. Do you have a middle name?
Rosas.
Rosas?
They appeared to be very scared, frightened.
Work for Jose? Where do you live?
And not exactly telling the truth about where they were from and what they were doing that day.
How old are you, Carla?
18.
What's your date of birth?
January.
Can you look at me up here? January what?
22nd.
What year?
1986.
Okay. And where do you live?
Oceanside.
Where in Oceanside? You don't know? You don't know where you live? During the interviews, I found that there was a lot of discrepancy in their ages, where they lived. None of them knew where they lived.
I don't know, we just moved there.
They hadn't seen their family.
They're in Mexico.
They had been brought over by somebody else who they didn't know the name of. Some of them were from Mexico, some from other countries. Do you have a middle name?
No.
No?
A lot of the girls appeared to be very young, approximately 14, 15 years old. They're all telling me they're about anywhere from 18 to 20. One of the youngest looking girls, Carla, told me she was 18. She appeared to be about 14 years in age. She was pretty upset and fearful.
Did somebody hurt you?
And she was doing things against her will and that she was hurting in her private area.
Who did that?
The men.
What men, honey?
And she eventually broke down and told me that she was having sex with men that were brought to the house.
I see her.
They're all pretty much telling me that they're with Jose, but as we got down in line, the younger one's telling me that they go to a home and she's with men that touch her, and Jose brings them to a home. It's pretty much the same deal with all of them.
Let's make a phone call and we'll get somebody else out here and they can talk to them.
Okay.
You want to watch them? I'm going to check out the van real quick.
Okay.
When I opened up the rear of the van, I noticed there were several rolled up mats. I noticed a lot of large empty black trash bags and several white regular-sized plastic bags. The white plastic bags contained several condoms, several used condoms. We found that the rolled-up mats are usually used for bedding of some kind, and the trash bags are commonly used as a possible curtain to provide privacy. Going through some of the backpacks in the van, we found several articles of clothing. A lot of the girls had journals in their backpacks. There were a few condoms in the backpacks. They obviously were dressed in skimpier clothing, and a lot of the clothing in the backpacks that they would change out to later. This was probably a group that was going out to the labor fields and provide a service for the migrant workers out in the fields. After we had talked to a few of them, and with the stuff that I'd found in the van, it was apparent that there was some sort of prostitution or possibly even some human trafficking.
I'm Sheriff Bill Collender. The scene you have just witnessed is becoming increasingly familiar. Young girls, some as young as 13 and 14, are being commercially exploited as prostitutes by hardened sex traffickers. An extremely high percentage of these girls are severely traumatized. They are terrified of the trafficker and fearful of retaliation against their family members back home. They are also frightened of law enforcement and scared of being deported. In this video, the deputies did the right thing. They looked beneath the surface. They noticed the expression of fear and depression on the girls' faces. They observed backpacks with several changes of clothing. They saw bedrolls, large dark-colored trash bags, large amounts of condoms and lubricants. They also found plastic shopping bags with discarded tissues and condoms, journals, and other forms of evidence. Most importantly, they interviewed each girl separately and treated each one of them as a victim. As a result, the victims received much-needed services and were given the opportunity to assist in the prosecution against the trafficker. Investigating sex trafficking requires a heightened awareness on our part. We must have a multi-agency, multidisciplinary approach from local, state, federal agencies, and non-governmental organizations. Together, we can make a difference and prosecute those who prey on the vulnerable.